Okay, so welcome to our mantra meditation video series. In this first episode, we're going to be starting with the basics. What is a mantra? What does it actually do? And how can mantras help us to experience very deep and profound states of meditation? So to help us answer these questions, we're going to be talking about the different elements or aspects of a mantra. And as we do that, you'll start to see all the amazing benefits that mantras can bring to your practice. So whether that's feeling more connection or openness with higher consciousness, whether it's experiencing a deeper sense of expansiveness or vastness in your practice, or maybe it's just a deeper feeling of inner peace and love and happiness that you can feel in your life. So this is what mantras can offer you with regular practice. So if you search online for what is a mantra, you're probably going to come across a definition that basically says something like a mantra is a statement that you repeat frequently to somehow benefit your mind. So as an example of this, some people might like to repeat something like, I am feeling happy, I am feeling happy, I am feeling happy. And they'll call this a mantra. And then they just continue to say this same phrase throughout the day, and over time that can help them to feel more happy. And this can be a wonderful practice. For us, we would probably refer to this as more of an affirmation practice rather than a mantra practice. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the differences between those two terms in a second. But firstly, we're just going to say that affirmations are great. We love working with affirmations. They can really help to bring many benefits into your life. But from our perspective, there is actually a subtle difference between just repeating some kind of beneficial phrase over and over again versus working with a mantra. And to help us understand those subtle differences, we firstly need to know a little bit more about where mantras come from. So let's do that now. From our perspective, we would say that a mantra is a deeply sacred and truly profound meditation tool that can be used to uplift one's consciousness in very profound ways. So mantras are normally received by some kind of high consciousness being or entity. And in some religions, these entities are sometimes referred to as deities. And then on the receiving side, a mantra is normally received by some sort of spiritual teacher or guru. And as we understand it, this process of receiving normally happens through some kind of intuitive communication. And then once a mantra has been received by a spiritual teacher or guru, that teacher is normally going to then share that with students or disciples or anyone who may meet that teacher who has the right karmic circumstances to receive that mantra teaching or those blessings. And traditionally, once a student or disciple has received some sort of blessing or empowerment from the spiritual teacher, that person can then start to connect with the mantra. And then when they go about their mantra practice, that mantra is now going to be helping them to connect with that particular energy source or higher consciousness being or beings very directly. And this can help them to bring about very significant inner transformation and spiritual growth. Now we're going to be expanding on this definition as we move through this video series. And we're also going to be going into much more detail about how you can actually connect with mantras. But for now, this is a very basic overview about what mantras are and how mantras are normally received. So at the beginning of this video, we basically said that there are some subtle differences between what we would call an affirmation versus a mantra. So now that we've talked about a little bit more about where mantras come from, we're ready to now talk about those differences that we were speaking about earlier. So for us, one of the core elements of a mantra, the thing that really sets it apart from an affirmation, is the fact that we're using a mantra to invoke some kind of higher consciousness being, beings, or energy source. And this is a really super crucial concept to understand when we're working with mantras. And for us, this really is the main difference between an affirmation and a mantra. So for example, when we recite or chant or even just think about a mantra, it's basically invoking those high consciousness beings or energies and then we're going to start opening up and receiving those energies in a very beneficial way through our meditation. So how exactly does invoking higher consciousness energies help to bring benefit into our own consciousness? Let's talk a little bit more about that now as we talk about some of the benefits that you can get from working with mantras. So to start with, for those who don't know what we mean by the word invoke or invoking, it just basically means that we're asking or calling on a deity or higher consciousness being to come and help us in some way. So when we think about a mantra or we say it, recite the mantra, this is automatically going to be invoking or calling on those higher consciousness energies so that we can start to receive those energies into our own consciousness, and that basically helps to awaken those higher consciousness energies within ourselves. So for example, we could be asking for help with clearing away our own karmic obstacles, or we could be asking for help with a particular situation that we may be facing in our life right now, or we could be asking for the mantra energies to help all beings in the highest possible way, or anything in between. And this is really where another important concept comes into play, and that's our intention. We would actually say that the intention that we're setting as we're working with mantras is super important. And as we move through this video series, we're going to be talking about how you can use your intentions when you're working with mantras so that you can feel very tangible results from your meditation and healing work with mantras. So as a quick conclusion here, we would say that mantras are quite similar to affirmations in that we are continuously saying or thinking about a phrase over and over again to help us bring about beneficial results. But for us, the fact that mantras have that added invocation element means that it's going to be helping us to call on very pure and elevated higher consciousness energies. And this is really where the practice of mantras can help to offer us many deeply profound benefits. And so this has been a very basic overview of mantras, including what they are and how they can help you. In the next video, we're going to be introducing 5 key concepts that are super important when working with mantras. So please feel free to join us there if you want to learn more about some of the ways that you can go deeper into your mantra meditation practice.